Very proud to introduce to you, I think, one of the most inspirational speakers we're going to have on stage today. This is Anna Vine, and she's here to tell you her story. So without further ado, over to you, Anna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna. I'm 15, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story with business. So I'd say the most interesting thing that's ever happened to me was when I opened a dusty shoebox I found in the back of my mum's kitchen cupboard. Not the most ordinary start to a business journey, I know, but I would say that it's in keeping with the rest of my business journey, as none of it has really been that ordinary. So in March 2020, I was 13, and my school had just been shut for the foreseeable future due to COVID. And like most 13-year-olds, I was just absolutely thrilled. I was so happy to not have to go to the place I hated and to lie in my bed all day doing nothing for months on end. But I think, like most people, when you're actually granted your wish of lying in bed doing nothing for months on end, it isn't always all it's cracked up to be. I think after probably about a month of joining all my online lessons in my pajamas and making my mum bring me food and water so I could just minimize any possible movement I had to do, the reality set in that maybe this was not the best thing for my physical and mental health. So I forcibly removed myself from the sort of Anna-shaped indent in my mattress, and I walked into my kitchen looking for something to do. And this is where the shoebox comes in. So whilst my mum was making probably my 9th bowl of pasta for that week, I opened my kitchen cupboard and I found a shoebox. I took it up to my room and I opened it. And inside was pieces of rope, pieces of metal wire, and some beads. And unlike the majority of people, but probably like the majority of people in this room, my first thought was, I can make money off this. And I should mention, at this point, I had no experience with making jewelry, nor did I wear or particularly like jewelry. But I started making earrings and necklaces, and I put them up to sell on the platform Depop. And this is the first pair of earrings I ever made. You can laugh, it's okay. I think my e-commerce photography could use a little bit of work. And looking back, actually, when I was finding these photos, I saw this photo had 2 likes, and I thought, wow, that's quite good, actually. Check the likes. It's my friend and my mum. But regardless, somehow, someone bought this pair of earrings. And with the £3.50, or probably about £3 after the fees that I made, I went out and I made my next business investment. I bought 2 of these. 2 limited edition Lindt chocolate bears. And in case you haven't guessed where this is going, which I'm not sure how you would, because it's probably the weirdest thing I could have bought, I took the plastic hearts off these bears and I made these earrings. And somehow they sold. And so using that money, I went online and I bought some more charms, made some more earrings, and they sold. Then I made some more, and they kept selling. And then I sort of sat back and I gleefully looked at my earnings. I even put them in a spreadsheet because I had such an incredulous amount of deluded faith in myself. I just sort of presumed I'd have to pay taxes pretty soon. So this is that spreadsheet. Yeah, those are my earnings for the month. As you can see, I was just absolutely rolling in it. But, you know, as inconceivably rich as I so clearly was, I realized that I could be even richer without the 10% fees that Depop was taking. So with no hesitation or experience, I built my first Wix website. So this is the first Anna Vine jewelry website ever created. Yeah, I think the aforementioned no website building experience is abundantly clear. But regardless, I made this website, and this is actually around the time when I was first introduced to Tash. And to give you sort of an idea of the scale I was at when I met Tash, the first piece of advice she had to give me was, might be a good idea if I had some product descriptions. But yeah, this was my first website. And after building this website, I started posting more seriously on social media. And that made and one of the strategies I used on social media, which works brilliantly on TikTok and Instagram Reels, is controversy marketing. Because the amazing and yet horrifying thing about social media, especially with the Gen Z audience, is that everyone has a voice and everyone knows that their voice can be heard. And with controversy marketing, the key to it, in my opinion, is to create controversy around your niche, but not around your brand or your products. So an example with that, I would post videos like, when you realize that gold jewelry is a lot better than silver jewelry. No one's particularly mad at me, it's relatively tame, but of course everyone who prefers silver jewelry goes and comments on your video, and your video goes viral. So that was one of the strategies I used to grow my social media. Then that social media caused my sales to go from, it's very intense, I know, So this was some social media growth that I had, and the social media caused my sales to improve from this to this. Which was a good increase, and I wasn't actually changing anything on the website side. At this time, in February 2021, I would not have been able to tell you a single one of my KPIs or what a KPI even was. But regardless, the sales were coming in. And then I met my first problem. I couldn't keep up with the demand. I couldn't keep hand-making the jewelry, and if I did, sales would always be low, and I wouldn't be making as much sales as I could or as much as people wanted to buy. And so I went online and I found some different suppliers. I didn't have any experience with suppliers at this point, but I just sort of bought things from loads of different suppliers and started selling them. And then, of course, I had to restock all my jewelry from all those different suppliers, which was extremely inconvenient. But I did it anyway, and that also helped my sales to increase. So that was also partially what this increase was. But then I met my second problem. I hated the website. Not surprising, considering it was quite bad. But I really didn't like my website. And so in August 2021, I made one of the best decisions I've ever made, I think. I spent 2 weeks straight sat in front of my dad's computer, and I made a Shopify website. So this is that Shopify website. Those are some first drafts. Again, no website experience, but this was the best I could do. And so with that, this is also, I could monitor my KPIs a lot better. Shopify was way more useful for monitoring KPIs. And this is the first time as well when I also started working more heavily with Tash and Steve. Tash and Steve made me so much more excited about the business. I think after our first meeting, pretty much already decided that I wanted to drop out of school. But my parents quickly shut that down and decided that monthly meetings with Tash and Steve would probably be a lot better. And I think at that point I had some kind of, I was very reluctant to take help. And I think it's really important to take help and take opportunities as they come in your business. It doesn't sort of dilute your own achievements. It's not embarrassing, it's not unfair, and I think it's really brilliant. So if you can take help, and don't be embarrassed about it. But back to the website. So after this website, the sales were good, everything was consistent, and I prefer the website. About a month after I made it, the worst happened. I returned to school. And when I returned to school, what happened was that I realized I couldn't keep up with doing everything and doing school. And so I did what any business owner would do. I forced my mum and my sister to work for me. And still to this day, my mum and my sister are the only employees of Anna Vine Jewelry, and they help me run everything. So I've put together a little office tour for you of our current setup here at Anna Vine Jewelry. Oh, hi. Why did you start your business? Was it to put a roof over your head? Was it to put food on the table? Was it for validation from strangers? Hey, I own a business. I started my business from this bed due to lockdown boredom, and this is where it's taken me. I'm sick of your attitude. You can't keep behaving like this in my office. Hi, welcome to the Anna Vine Jewelry office. Come on in, let me give you a quick tour. So first of all, this is where the magic happens. Let me take you to the first desk. First of many, first of two. So this is my mum, my employee, Rachel. Rachel runs all the online postage and she prints all the labels, and Rachel very kindly volunteers her services for free. Rachel, how do you feel about working at Anna Vine Jewelry?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So let's get some labels and I will take you over to the corner office. The corner of the office, let's go! Right, let me take you to the packing station. Martha, some more orders for you, fresh off the printing press. So Martha packs all of our Shopify orders in our soon-to-be recyclable packaging, and Martha has worked for Anna Vine Jewelry for almost a year now. Very well done, Martha. So how did you originally hear about the job?
Well, Mum told me it'd be a good way to make money for uni.
Very nice. We at Anna Vine Jewelry love to give jobs to today's youth. Now let me take you over to this very interesting map we have going on. So this is a map of all the places that we've sent orders to. So most of our orders come from the US and the EU and mostly in the UK. But we have had a few more interesting orders, for example to Namibia and Botswana.
Not sure if those ever arrived. And finally, let me take you to meet our CEO. Now, they're a little bit elusive, they're a little bit quiet, and they don't really like being disturbed, but I think we can get a shot with them. Do you get it? Because it's me. Anyways, thank you for coming to Anna Vine Jewellery today. I hope you had a brilliant time. Let me show you out, and we'll get back to business. Thanks very much. Can't wait to get out of my parents' basement.
Yeah, along with my new lovely employees, who maybe you'll get to see at a later date, I also, and the new website, it was included in some up-leveling that I wanted to do. I wanted to increase my product prices, and I also wanted to have a clearer brand identity, some more clear brand aesthetic, and to just generally up-level the brand and make it a bit more high-end. And so I got some photography professionally done. I invested in professional photography, so that's some before and afters of that. And I also invested in a graphic designer who I work with, who I found on Upwork, and she helped me create a more clear brand identity. So this is that applied to the website. That was the before, and then this is after all the new branding. And then if we take another look at the figures that I showed you earlier of the increasing sales, there was one thing that was not increasing, and that was the returning customer rate. The returning customer rate, I mean, it was just quite bad. 4% and 9%, I wasn't putting any work into it, and so I noticed this, and I realized I needed to improve it. And so I started sending out email newsletters, I started running more sales, and I started increasing new items more regularly. And that caused my returning customer rate to go from this to this, which isn't a great increase. It still needs a bit of work, but considering I only put a small amount of time and money into it, that's a pretty good return. I hope you've listened to enjoy me. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me talk, but I'm sure the question you're all asking is, how much money have I made? And I'll just tell you, it's all right. So since lockdown, I've turned over £174,000 with a 60% profit margin, so about £91,000, which isn't, oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm aware it doesn't sound like that much compared to the hundreds of millions of pounds we've been hearing about today, but if you'll allow me to indulge in my own immodesty for a minute, it does mean that I owned a six-figure business before my 15th birthday. Thank you. Thank you. And I couldn't have done it without Bolt. I'm really excited to keep working with them. Some things we've got in store are working with a cat charity, because I want to increase the positive impact of Anna Vine Jewellery, and also helping to inspire other young people into entrepreneurship. And I hope I've given you some good advice, as much advice as you can get from a 15-year-old. But I will leave you with one fact. I think I can attribute probably all of my business success to this one fact, and I hope it'll encourage you to take some risks, as I think that I'm proof that if you're in a position to do so, taking risks really does pay off. And that fact is that the rational part of a human's brain isn't fully developed until age 25. Thank you.
Fantastic. Is that inspiring or what? Amazing, right? So we've got a little bit of time for questions. We'll get the video downloaded because it's amazing. If you've ever seen the Dollar Shave Club video, Anna's done a version of that. It's incredible. So we'll show that after lunch, hopefully. So we will get to that. But any questions for Anna? We've got a couple of minutes. We'll just pass the mic back so we can hear you.
I've got loads of kids. They're all 15. Can you come and meet my 15 or 16-year-old son? So I tell you what, he spent a lot of time in his bed. I guess he is over lockdown. I guess I'm interested to know, I mean, why did you start so early? What's your background? Because, I mean, obviously you've got breakfast for the rest of you. I mean, it's an astonishing story.
Thank you.
Well done. But how did you think you were going to be doing it at 15, 16?
No, I mean, it never originally started as a business. I never had the thought of, let me run a business. The reason the business is called my own name, Anna Vine Jewellery, is because it was originally just a Depop account that I started posting things on. I think there's a lot of advantages that come with being young as well. When you're young, you have basically no responsibilities. You're always going to have, if you're in a fortunate position, you're always going to have a roof over your head. You're going to have food on the table. You're not going to have to worry about paying your rent or affording meals for your children. Like, it's a very good time to start, because the worst that happens is your business fails. You still have a house to live in, you still have food, you're still provided for. And so it's a very non-risky position to start, I think, than an adult. So I honestly think there's not a better time to start than when you're young. Anyone else? Any more questions?
Who are you selling to?
That's the age-old question, isn't it? Sorry? Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the war paint Danny said, it really is everyone. I think it is hard to put a pin on a specific group of people. Majority of people who buy are about aged 18 to 24, but I get people from all over. A lot of times it's older relatives who buy for their kids, or it's like men who are buying for their wives and things like that. So yeah, it really is quite varied.
Your story is so inspiring.
Thank you.
How do you balance entrepreneurship with school and, well, your teenage life?
Yeah, very badly is probably the answer to that question. I mean, it's sort of impossible to do. My school is very demanding. They've already let me drop a GCSE, which was very kind, and they did give me the day off to come here today, because I am meant to be at school right now. It is a really hard challenge to balance with school, and I honestly don't think I'm qualified to give the advice of how to balance it, because I probably do a horrible job. But I think not being too hard on yourself is a key. I think if you're constantly saying, I need to go to school for 8 hours and I need to come home, do my homework, and there's this work that's due tomorrow for my business that I need to do, you're going to burn out really quickly, and it's not going to last long, and it's not going to be sustainable. But if you're kind to yourself and you give yourself breaks, and you prioritize your own health and your own mental health over the business, I think that you're much more likely to be able to survive that balance between the two. Anyone else? Yeah? What's next? Well, business is not my dream. I hate to say it. As much as I love running this business, I don't think it's what I want to do full time. Ideally, once I finish school in 3 or more long years, I will run the business for a few years and then hopefully sell it and go to drama school. So that's my plan, but we'll see how it works out. Awesome.
Brilliant. Thank you, Anna. I'm just going to tell everyone about your shop.
Oh, sure.
So we're going to go to lunch now. Anna has actually set up a little shop just out there, showing all her jewellery, so you can go and check out her products. Her best sellers are the Viper Ring, and am I right? The Viper Ring and the Viper Cuff, which are great products. So have a look. Anna will be there, and we'll show you guys all the products. And if you've got any questions about how she found those products, how she spots trending products, how she deals with suppliers. Anna very much has a very busy WhatsApp with all these people from Alibaba messaging over all the time what the latest trending items are, and you're even able to customize some of that stuff now, aren't you? Yeah, so do your suppliers know you're 15 or not?
No, they found my Instagram.
Hang on, say that again.
They found my Instagram, which is, I think, the only thing they know about me. But no, none of them know my age.
I just wonder whether all these
keep it that way,
manufacturers in China realise they're dealing with a 15-year-old or 14-year-old.
I don't think so, no.
No.
But I keep it that way. I think it's quite good.